Well, hello there and thanks for joining me on the first season of the new series. It's springtime and the championship is called Pista de Resistance. We get to race classic racers in A-class. All of the races belong to the road series, so that is a combination that is guaranteed to be fun. I took out the old Alfa Romeo Giulia TZ2 for a tour around the countryside. However, will it also take me to victory? Well, seeing as it is A-class and a road series, and this car is supposed to be very good, I do like my odds for this championship. But you never know, so let's find out. Let's find out in this first race, which is called the Greendale Super Sprint. And although we do have a couple of bird cages, there is a nice mixture of cars in this trial event. Someone took out the Porsche 906, which could be won in the previous co-op championship. So go check out the video where I win this Porsche 906, but after this one of course. However, I decided to take something different. I wanted to test out the TZ2 and see how good it actually is. One brave soul even took out the Ford Cortina, and for his display of bravery he even gets rewarded with a pole position. Well deserved in my opinion. We have a nice launch and head for the first couple of corners, all of which are 90-degree corners. The Ford Cortina slides his way through the pack while I try to get the corners in a more sensible fashion. But I do want to watch out for him. I do not want to mess up his run, which is kind of difficult as he is a bit all over the place. And another 90-degree corner is coming up and we finally get past him fair and square and without causing any grievance. We also passed the final driver car, so now we are up in first place. For the moment we have positions 1 and 2, but are still just barely winning points wise. We only have the 50 points for having first place. There is no room for error. And errors have been made. The nice driving comment indicates some misfortune has befallen our teammates. Most likely caused by other teammates, as it makes little sense to send out that comment if it was a driver. It's not like they will change their behavior after seeing this comment. My lead on the others is slowly growing. Not sure I have the fastest car though, as I took a handling too, as I always do. We are now on the highway and well, we have two shifts and the first switch to the other side is an easy one. The second one, however, can be tricky. The walls are pretty close, so I slow down just a bit. I lift off the gas momentarily to make sure I get through cleanly. Then the same over here. It is possible, depending on the car and tune, to go flat out, but you have to drive it perfectly. So in my case, I slow down a bit just to make sure to stay on the road. The hairpin as well can be very tricky because of the little jump in the middle of the road. It can make the car spin or cause the car to not brake as you would like it to. Again, going slow will take care of this, but if you get it dead right, you can go a lot faster. Seeing as I have quite the lead, I do not see the point in pushing it, because pushing it too far on any of those sections would not help me in any way. It would only increase the risk of not being able to retain my first place. So I keep it tight, very tight, and I am able to finish in first place. Our team, we get first and second place. But with all the calamities the other drivers had to endure, or I imagine they had, we do not have sufficient points. Will it still shift in our advantage? Chances are slim, as the difference in points is quite big. We would have to gain multiple places, and it seems we are not able to do so. So, the first victory point is for Team Drivatar. Hey, at least this means we do not have to drive the last race for honor only. So, well, that's a nice change. Unless we lose the next race as well, in which case it will be for honor only, but not the way I would have liked it. So, let's imagine we do win the next race, and I really would like to. Will I get another first place? Will I be able to win once more? For sure, This car is very good, so if I do bottle it, I cannot blame the car nor the tune. Speaking of which, take a good look at the cars of our teammates and their PI values as we go to the Astmore Heritage Circuit. This is a fun little track, and I think my car is well suited for this track. And Forza agrees with me as it gives me pole position. Pole position with a 90-degree corner fairly soon after the start. I hope we can get through as cleanly as in the last race. Now, I can weave my way through most of the driver doors. But of course there is one small collision that messes up my run, but luckily not so that I missed the checkpoint, although it was a close call. Second place and chasing down the leader, while using alternative faster lines. It can be even faster if you cut the entire corner and go through the field, but that is also risky. A little dive bomb on the driver door, and that makes me the leader of the pack. They are still close on my tail, but I do have a good run through this corner, so I hope my speed will be high enough to increase my advantage. But the driver car behind me seems reluctant to let me go, so I do need a couple of good corners to increase my lead on them. But also over here have a decent run. This corner goes quite nice, and of course I will also use the alternative line towards the last checkpoint. It could have been even closer. I cross the finish line for the first time with already a comfortable lead on the rest of the pack. Now, to be honest, I did this trial already once before, earlier today. Also with the exact same car, but I did it in a convoy with my son. However, I was completely unaware that my voice chat with him would also be recorded, so I could not use those videos. Hence this second go. My son also likes the game, but maybe not as much as I do. Nevertheless, we have a lot of fun together. But for this championship, he really took out the wrong car, which caused him to come in near the end in every race. He also had the birdcage, you know, the Maserati Tipo, but untuned. And then that car has a rear-wheel drivetrain, and he skidded out a couple of times. Remember I told you to take a look at our teammates' cars and their PI values? Well, that is my piece of advice for this week. Make sure to have a decent car with a decent tune. Make sure you can drive it more or less decent before starting the event. Now, the PI alone does not mean anything, as the driver cars will more or less adapt to the PI values of the human players. But make sure the car has a tune you can drive. Don't show up in an untuned car if you cannot handle it. That's what tunes are for. Just download one that suits your driving style, you know, as I always take handling tunes. That way you secure yourself a better position already. Just look at the icon on the map to find out what cars and classes you are limited to, and then see if you have something suitable for the race. That way it will be more fun for you and for your teammates. Also, it gives all of us a better chance at winning. I'm not at all convinced that the people in this lobby did that. Only the racer with the Ford Cortina has a PI of 800. Everybody else has a lower PI, so most likely they have untuned cars, and they struggle. They struggle as I win my second race in a row. Luckily, this time around, we do have sufficient points to get a victory. The Cortina is in second place while others are down the order. Will we keep the points? That's the big question. If we don't, this trial is over. Well, lost anyway. 5th and 6th now need to finish, and 5th already did, and so does 6th. We win this second race and we get our first victory point. For once, it all boils down to the last race. I'm hoping for another victory. I hope to score a hat-trick. If not, a second place with the Cortina in first maybe. But the race will most likely be won or lost by the other people. Will they be able to finish high enough to secure our much needed second victory point? Will they give us the victory for this Pista de Resistance Championship? We will find out in the final race. And the final race happens to be another circuit race. The Broadway Village Circuit, to be more precise. This is another track I firmly enjoy. The long straight across the finish line, the fast corners, the 90-degree corners. I just love the flow of this track. I start in the middle of the pack. And if the championship was not depending on this final race, I would have done the Johnson Challenge, I think. Just let everybody pass and then see how high I can finish. But I decided the risk was just too high. Yes, I had already won, but these people probably not. So I just launch and see if I can get another first clean corner. I get to pass a lot of cars as I head towards the corner, where I receive a little punt from what I believe to be a teammate. So I gave the wall a little punt, but all in all I'm already up in second place. I start chasing down the leader, trying to get past him, with the Cortina close behind me. I get a very clean, nice overtaking done in these fast corners, and that is me in first place. Let's see if I can keep this position. First 90-degree corner went fine, but the next one is a very important one, as it decides how the run on the long straight will play out. Mess it up and you will have a bad run, but do a good job and the very long straight will help you gain a lot. Gain distance if you're in the lead like me, or gain positions if you are somewhere in the middle or near the back. On my first playthrough of this trial, I came in first in all 3 races as well. But also in that one, half of our team did not have tuned cars. That is my son included, even after I did warn him about this. Can't complain too much about that trial though, as we did win all 3 races. Let's see if I can win all 3 races this time around as well. For now, it is looking good and I am feeling really comfortable in my car in this race. I know the track, I can handle the car, and that is often a dangerous combination. Your attention might start to slip and cause grievance. But I'm having too much fun to let my attention drop that far. I do notice, however, that I sometimes make small mistakes due to the lack of pressure. Too much pressure is not good, but having no pressure at all can also be a bad thing. And then we come back to the fast corners, and there is one teammate up in front. And it seems he is just skiing his way towards the finish line, although I doubt he will get to the finish line like this. And I believe I was lucky I was able to avoid him. Also, the Cortina is able to get past. Let's hope he does not mess things up for us, as we also need the teammates in 5th and 6th place to score enough points. The final stretch towards the finish line. This is another first place for us. Our little TZ2 really came through. What a pleasant car to drive. Will we keep the lead in points? Will we be able to win this championship? We scored a nice hat-trick, but I think we can count ourselves lucky if we win another victory point. Again, it boils down to 5th and 6th place. 5th is in. Now 6th, well, something very strange happens. He drops down to 7th, momentarily to 8th, and then all kinds of strange things happen, but in the end he keeps it at the 7th place. That means we get another victory point, we get 2 points, and we win this championship. The Pista de Resistance will see us get our prize, which is of course the Ferrari 488 Pista. And that of course explains the name of this championship. If you happen to enjoy this video, then maybe I can persuade you to press the thumbs up button, or even subscribe to my channel, or just to watch one of the linked videos at the end of this one. Any which way, I hope to see you next time. A goodbye.